Yeah, so really closely tied to what I was saying about the objects. And I guess what I feel the closest to would be, Japanese philosophy, which of course comes mostly from like China originally, but concepts like wabi-sabi, for example, which is appreciating imperfection. It's something that I think is very, very enriching and very beautiful, like to be able to look at something or appreciate something even if it might be broken, for example. So that's one of them. Then there is this kind of connection with nature in the like Eastern Japanese philosophy. There's some ideas and concepts in, like, for example, like Shirin-yoku, which is forest bathing, and it basically talks about how being in the nature and being surrounded by green and being in the forest and smelling the forest and all of that, how it's actually very good for your mental health and for your physical health. So I really appreciate that about the Eastern thinking as well. And then the last one that I will give example of is mono no aware, and it is this idea, or like, it is a concept that explains, no, it's idea, those are not the right words for this. Mono no aware is about appreciating and seeing beauty in things that are withering. It's about appreciating the transience of things and accepting it, and about seeing beauty in this. And this is where it gets interesting, and this is where it really ties to what I was talking earlier about my artist name, etc. It is a lot about seeing beauty in this moment of when something is kind of departing, or when you have, for example, a flower and it's kind of slowly dying, it's getting tired, and like, it's not at its freshest, but it's not quite dead or dry yet. So it's appreciating the beauty of that, like the process of aging, for example, and all of this. So yeah, so in this sense, the Eastern philosophy is really close to my heart, and it kind of intrinsically is part of my practice. And I think without me kind of trying to work with it, because these are ideas that I carry with me in my everyday life, I guess it kind of translates into the work itself. So that's, I think, why I might have been drawn to the objects in the first place, because I started working with them and I didn't really think about why I'm doing it. I just felt like it's a thing to do, because I've always been a collector of things, of stones and branches and small brass objects, and it just felt so natural to pick them up once I started to dive really deep into sound and see what we can do together in this field. And all these philosophies, all the kind of ideas that come from the Japanese philosophy really feed into that quite strongly.